This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. We may be a comic duo, but we take mental health very serious. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is completely online. BetterHelp is a network with over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/amp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/amp.
I've been thinking about this for a while and wasn't sure how to relate it to life, but I think I got it. Let's try this. This will be a quick one. So I want to share some thoughts about Amazon reviews or online reviews. Not about what we're buying, but about the deeper lessons that they teach us. So Amazon reviews aren't really for the seller. Wait, let me rephrase that. Amazon reviews are not for the seller. I had one bad review on one of my books and I cannot reply back to the person. And what they said showed that they didn't read what the book was about before they read it. And it just kind of made me laugh. Amazon reviews are not for the seller, they're for the buyer. And it got me thinking of how often in life do we take feedback, criticism, or even compliments personally when really they're not about us at all, right? We've talked about this a little bit. I just want to share how we can stop taking things personally, let go of the weight of others' opinions, and focus on what truly matters. I've been having some conversations with friends who, maybe they have someone in their life that will say something to them and it's just kind of off the wall and they get bothered by it. It bothers them and they call me and say, or they text me and say, I have no idea why he or why she did this. Like, I don't know what they were trying to say or what they were trying to get at. And I have to remind them that it's not about them. It's about the person that sent the negative feedback or the criticism or a strange compliment. I know we've talked about that before where it's kind of a compliment, but it's kind of not. So it makes you think. So I just want to talk about navigating criticism, bad experiences, and we're going to use Amazon reviews as an example. So what are they really for? Let's start with Amazon reviews. We all use them to decide what to buy, or most of us use them on decision making. Here's what's interesting though. Reviews are not for the sellers, they're for the buyers. Sellers can't even respond to reviews. This is key because it keeps the focus on the buyer's experience. It doesn't matter if the seller disagrees or has an explanation. Amazon made it clear. Reviews are a tool for buyers, not a platform for sellers to defend themselves. Think about that in life. Feedback, whether good or bad, often isn't about us. It's about the person giving it. It's their perspective. It's their expectations. It's their experience. It's their day. When we realize this, maybe we can stop taking everything so personally. Maybe we can say, that's on you if you're not happy with this or that, or you have to say something to me to make yourself feel better. Think about it. People's reactions are more about them than they are about you. And the more that you say that to yourself, the more you'll get it, the more you'll be happier. I can almost guarantee it only because I had to do that. Every time I heard someone give me criticism or feedback, did I take it to heart. And it would bother me for years. There's still a couple of feedbacks and criticism that I got years ago that every once in a while like to jump at me and I go, whoop, go down, go away, get out of here. It wasn't about me. It was about them. If someone says, you're not really good at this, it doesn't mean you're not good. It could mean they were expecting something different They weren't expecting something better. They were expecting something different, or they're projecting their own securities. I worked with someone that would tell me everything I did wasn't good enough. Come to find out, and once I started learning a few things these past couple years, they would always just say how bad I was to make themselves feel better and look better. And then I learned that they were taking the credit for my work. So it couldn't have been that bad, right? Praise works this way. When someone says you're amazing, it's often because you've met or exceeded their needs or expectations. Now, they could just be saying it because you are amazing, right? But if it's someone that maybe you're not sure about the feedback, think about that. It might be about their needs or expectations. It's about how they feel, not an absolute measure of your worth. You know you're amazing. You don't need anybody to tell you, right? And actually, this realization is kind of freeing if you think about it. You don't have to own every piece of feedback you receive. You don't have to own any of them because you own your own. You own your own feedback. You own your own criticism. Be careful there. Don't criticize yourself too much. You can choose to reflect on the feedback, take what's useful, and then leave the rest behind. Maybe it was the approach. Maybe it was the way that they said something. Ignore that. Take the feelings out of it. Take the emotions out of it. Just like text messages, emails, any kind of written communication, take the emotions out of it. Just read the facts and go from there. Leave the rest behind. So what do we do when criticism hits hard or someone leaves a bad review on your life or on your product? Pause and breathe before reacting. Take a moment to pause. So when I got the 1-star review that said, I could barely finish this book, albeit I did finish this book, it was too short, something like that. If you look at the recap of the book, it says, young adult, 2-hour read. It basically is just to show you that you're not alone, kind of give you a refresher of, oh, wow, yeah, she's been through that. I've been through some of it. Here's how she got through it. Maybe I can as well. It's just a recap. This person was like, this was too short. I can't believe it only took me 2 hours, but that's what it says. It prepares you for that. It's a quick read. It's a reminder that you're not alone. So I had to take a moment and take a pause. And of course I took it to social media and I said, oh, this is fun. You put your whole life out there and you get 1 star of someone that says, useless or whatever. Our initial response comes from a place of emotion, not clarity. Of course, because I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I saw that my stars had dropped because I was obsessed with looking at how many stars and how many reviews, especially almost a year ago now. I was constantly, that's the first thing I would do. I was waking up in the morning and looking at everything almost just to be sure I wasn't getting any bad reviews. And that first one came through and it's kind of like getting the ding on a new car you just purchased or a scuff on the new shoe. You're like, oh no. And you just kind of, all the oxygen gets sucked away and you're just like, no. So pause. Know that it's on them. My book wasn't what they expected. It was different than what they expected. So that's why they left the review. A deep breath gives you some space to think. Then go back to it. Don't get upset about it. It's on them. It's not on you. You did the work. You're proud of your work. You know you're awesome. You know you did as much as you could. You know you gave over 100% on a project or an item or something that maybe they're reviewing or just in life. You know you did your best. You have to ask yourself, is this review, is this feedback, is this criticism about me? Reflect on that. Is it something constructive that you can learn from, or is it more about the other person's perspective? In life, I'm in my late 40s, so anyone that's younger and listening, I have learned that most feedback, most negative, most criticism, most negative feedback, most comments, bad reviews, it's more about the other person's perspective, their situation, their experience, their thoughts on how it should be. So just know that. If there's something valuable in the criticism, you can take it as an opportunity to grow. For example, I think I rearranged or I rewrote my recap at the top because I explained the book. And then towards the end, I put that it was a 2-hour quick read for anyone that wants to relate. So I switched my wording so that it says right at the top, a quick 2-hour read for young adults. And so actually that has helped. I've still been, of course, even with one bad review, I've gotten plenty of sales, plenty of positive feedback after it. So I did find something valuable in that review by making sure I changed my wording, because let's face it, people are reading your recaps. They're probably not reading the whole thing. They're reading the first line going, okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm going to buy it. And then it was something different than they thought. Think about it. So if you sell an item online, think about how you're writing the description or the recap or whatever you want to put at the top of it. Think about it. They can see the color of the earrings or something. Make sure you let them know what kind, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. Silver, post, green and red earrings. Instead of saying, these are perfect for the holidays. Maybe explain it like that. Just an example. Another thing is, if you are online, this could be relationships, this could be selling stuff, this could be an author, this could be whatever. Not every comment deserves a response. If you would like to respond to some, not on Amazon, you can't respond to those, but other, I think maybe Etsy or, I don't know, maybe even eBay. I'm not sure about those. Is there even an eBay? I think there might be. Not every comment deserves a response. So remember that. You can read it and say, okay, thanks. Maybe you could take a few things out of it and say, well, maybe I will change this around a little bit. And then guess what? Leave it behind. Leave it behind. You got to protect your peace and set your boundaries. That's what this podcast is about, setting your boundaries, knowing when to let go, keeping it behind. Just like Amazon or an online store. It doesn't let sellers reply to every review, so you don't have to engage with every opinion. You don't have to engage with feedback. You don't have to engage with criticism. Someone calls you up and says something and it completely throws you off. Don't engage. Just read through and listen through to the facts. If they have a comment to say, like, well, I thought maybe you would do it better, or I thought you would do it this way, or I can't believe you didn't listen to the instructions. That's not on you. That's on them. Just listen for the facts and say, I got you. I'm going to go ahead and get that. Or you got yourself, basically, like, absolutely. I understand. I'm going to go complete that again. Or thank you for the feedback. Acknowledge that. You can actually acknowledge that maybe their criticism was a little bit harsh. I don't know what you mean by that, but here's what you want me to do. You want me to go back and do this? Think about it that way too. Just pull the facts from the criticism. Ignore the negative feedback altogether. If it's something that's constant, if you're constantly hearing it, ignore all that. Just get to the facts. What would you like me to do? If it's in work, right? If it's in a relationship, what did you mean by that? You might have to ask that person, what did you mean by that? Why are you saying that to me? And how can I help? What is it that you need without having them give you negative feedback? There's different ways too. You can shift the narrative. Instead of thinking, what did I do wrong? How about, what can I do better? Or even, this isn't about me at all. In life, whether it's relationships, business relationships, whatever it is, you can say to yourself, this isn't about me at all. I just did it. I just did it earlier in the year. Something was happening and I thought, this is not about me. I've been the same person, only trying to improve. What is this other person doing? Why are they doing that? And I was really taking it to heart. I was getting the headaches and the high blood pressure. And I was really stressing out about it. And I had to remember, that is them. That is no reflection on me, how they speak to me. And so I had to put up my boundaries. I stopped answering my phone. I stopped answering text messages. I had to put up my boundaries. You cannot get emotionally beat up by the same person over and over again. You just can't. I don't think it's physically and mentally healthy, and you can't do it. This isn't about me at all, the way that person speaks to you or how they maybe write something to you or things that they do. Now, why they do it, that's another episode. Protecting yourself is this episode. Stepping away, only listening to the facts. And remember your wins. A single bad moment does not define you. One bad criticism, one negative feedback, one bad review, that does not define you. Look at the bigger picture. Remind yourself of your strengths and your past successes. Believe me, you have a lot of them. You got to find them though. Early in this podcast journey with Cass and I, actually the Clopen Effect, the retail podcast, someone sent us an email and said that we were a little too harsh. And then someone sent one that said we're a little too casual. And it's a comedy podcast. And I thought, too casual? Harsh? Maybe. Yes, we swear a little bit. At first it stung. I was like, who is this person? They're not starting a podcast. What are they doing with their life? I kind of started getting that way, right? A little bit negative, a little bit of stinging. And I thought, are we not doing this right? I had a conversation with Cass. I'm like, what do you think? Should we do this? And she said, I'm going to show up and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing because that's what's natural and that's what we're good at. So why would we have changed anything? After sitting with it, I realized the comments, they weren't about us. It was about what the listener wanted. It was maybe a little bit of jealousy because maybe they weren't doing something, or maybe it was something that they wanted to do and we did it. So you have to think about that kind of stuff too. I didn't need to change who I was. We didn't need to change what we were doing. We didn't really need to change the approach of the podcast. Instead, we focused on what we could control, and we just made episodes that felt authentic to us. And that's it. And we're celebrating 185 episodes with one bad comment saying that it was just too casual or we swore too much or something like that. And guess what? 185 episodes and 4 years later. Amazing, because we stayed authentic to ourselves and to our idea. And that's the thing about criticism. It's not always about fixing something. Sometimes it's about recognizing what's worth holding on to and what you can let go of. So here's the takeaway: feedback, criticism, even bad experiences, they're a part of life. Some of us hear them every day. I feel like I get them a lot, but they don't have to define us. Most of the time, they're not about us anyway. They're not about you. They're not about me. They're about the person that's doing it. When you face criticism, take a deep breath, reflect, decide what's worth your time and your energy. Remember that you are so much more than someone else's opinion or someone else's negative comment. You are so much more than that. Say that to yourself right now. I am so much more than that. Leave the negative behind. Focus on the positive, focus on the facts. If you'd like to change up a few things, then do it, but do it based on what you think is best for you. So just for fun, because I know this when you're here with me by myself and not with Cass or not with a guest, it's a little more serious. But just for fun, I looked up the worst reviewed products on Amazon, and I thought maybe we could have a little laugh. So there's one called the Useless Box. It's a box with a switch that when flipped opens to reveal a mechanical arm that turns the switch off again. It's a gag gift loved for its absurdity. But there's funny reviews on there, so take a look. There's a banana slicer. While functional, this item is often mocked in reviews for solving a problem most people never have, with over-the-top commentary exaggerating if it's necessary. It's a banana slicer. Seems pretty easy, right? How about Pet Rock? The modern-day revival of the 1970s joke product, a solid rock sold as a low-maintenance pet. Buyers find it humorous in its concept, but often leave sarcastic reviews about their pet's behavior. That's funny. That's very funny. How about a fried chicken phone case? It's a rubbery phone case shaped like a drumstick, and while it's funny, it's often criticized for its bulkiness and impracticality. So go find that one too. Then there's also a giant inflatable unicorn horn for cats because, cats love to be dressed up, right? Cat lovers, you can tell me different. Oh gosh, this product is meant to transform your feline into a magical unicorn, though most cats likely disagree, leading to both hilarious photos and less than stellar reviews. I mean, obviously these are popular gag gifts, but if you want to go take a look at them, it's just a fun thing that I wanted to end with. So, hey, take care of you. take care of you. You are number one. You know that you're amazing. You know that you are working hard. You know that you're doing your best. And just keep going with it. Leave those negatives behind. Find the facts, find the positive, improve if you feel you must. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.